Here's something nobody tells you when you buy a house. Your grandparents' home had rooms yours doesn't. Not because they were richer, not because houses were bigger, because 3 specific decisions made across 3 decades quietly removed entire rooms from the American floor plan and replaced them with open space that sounds like freedom and functions like loss. The parlor, the formal dining room, the butler's pantry. 3 rooms, 3 decades, 3 decisions. Stay with me, because by the time we get to the 3rd one, you're going to feel it in your own kitchen. Walk through any Victorian terraced house in London or Edinburgh built before 1900. The floor plan makes immediate sense. A parlor at the front, a formal room for receiving guests, separate, closed off, controlled. A dining room behind it, a dedicated space for the table, the china, the rituals of eating together. A kitchen tucked away at the back, functional, hidden, not for guests to see. And somewhere between the kitchen and the dining room, a butler's pantry, a staging room where the mess of cooking stayed invisible from the people being cooked for. Every room had a function. Every function had a room. Now walk through any American home built after 2000. You enter into a space. Not a room. A space. The kitchen is visible from where you're standing. The living area is visible. Someone on a work call paces through the kitchen while dinner is being made. There are no doors between these areas. There are no walls. The entire ground floor is one large open volume divided by furniture rather than architecture. It's called open concept. It arrived from one source in 1 decade. And it changed the American home more completely than any architectural decision since the post-war housing boom. You've lived inside that change every day without knowing it had a source. Think about the last time you were in a house that felt genuinely different from yours. Not bigger, not more expensive, just organized differently, where doors actually closed, where you could be in one room and not see or hear what was happening in another, where the kitchen was a place you went to, not a space you were always already in. For most Americans under 40, that experience involves a very old house or a trip abroad. Because the American home has been systematically losing its rooms for 70 years. And here's the thing, the first room that went is the one most Americans have never even heard the name of. Don't go anywhere. The parlor died in 1947, not everywhere at once. But the decision that killed it was made that year on 4,000 acres of Long Island potato fields by a builder who needed to put up 30 houses a day and couldn't afford a room that didn't generate resale value. His name was William Levitt, and his floor plans had no parlor. Instead, they had a living room, one informal space where the family watched television, the children played, and guests were received with the same casualness that post-war America was embracing as a virtue. The distinction between formal and informal space was, in Levitt's calculation, a distinction that cost money and served a social ritual that returning soldiers had absolutely no interest in maintaining. The parlor was a waste of square footage. Every developer who followed Levitt made the same calculation. Think about the front room of your own home right now. Whether it has a door that closes, whether it's used for anything other than passing through or staring at a screen. The parlor's replacement, the living room, was designed to do everything. And like most things designed to do everything, it does nothing particularly well. By 1960, the parlor was gone from new American construction. The room where a family presented its best self to the outside world, gone. The living room absorbed everything the parlor used to mean and diluted all of it. That's room 1. But here's where it gets darker. The formal dining room survived the post-war boom. It was still in most American homes through the 1970s and into the 1980s. A separate room with a door, a dedicated table, the china cabinet, the good plates. Smaller than its Victorian predecessor. Less formal, but still its own room. Still its own purpose. And then, in 1994, a television channel launched that would do more to reshape the American home than any architect, any builder, or any government policy since the FHA HGTV. Within a decade, HGTV had made open concept the most desired feature in American residential real estate. Show after show tore down the wall between the kitchen and the dining room and called it transformation. The before was always the same: dark, closed, compartmentalized. The after was always the same: bright, open, connected. The formal dining room was the before. The great room was the after. Cast your mind back to the last renovation show you watched. Whether the host tore down a wall and called it a transformation. Whether the before always looked wrong and the after always looked right. That feeling wasn't instinct. It was television. By 2010, nearly 80% of new American home designs had eliminated the formal dining room. One cable channel, launched in 1 year, reshaped the spatial logic of the American home more thoroughly than 7 decades of architectural theory. The second room disappeared because a TV channel convinced America that closing a room was the same as closing a mind. But there's a third room, and this one, I promise you, you're going to feel in your gut. Most Americans under 50 have never seen this room in a home they've lived in. It makes almost every kitchen task easier, and almost no new home includes it. The butler's pantry. It was already a casualty of the same post-war efficiency logic that killed the parlor. A butler's pantry required extra square footage, extra construction, and a spatial philosophy that mass-market housing had no interest in maintaining, keeping the mess of cooking completely invisible from the people being cooked for. Levitt's kitchens opened directly onto the living space. No staging room, no buffer between preparation and presentation. The butler's pantry, the secret weapon of a well-organized household, was simply not in the plan. What was lost wasn't just a room, it was a philosophy. Picture it: a narrow room between the kitchen and the dining room, countertops on both sides, a prep sink, shelves holding the china and the glassware, a door to the kitchen on one side, a door to the dining room on the other, the mess of cooking on one side, the guests on the other. The butler's pantry existed because someone understood that a meal is a performance, that the pleasure of eating together is enhanced when the labor of producing the meal stays invisible. The kitchen as backstage, the dining room as the stage. When the wall came down, backstage merged with the stage. And here's what that costs you every single time you host. Think about the last time you had people over for dinner. The guests standing around the island watching you cook, nowhere obvious to go, the mess of preparation visible throughout the meal, you unable to be fully present because the kitchen is always in the room. Think about the child doing homework at the kitchen table while dinner is being prepared. The television on in the same open space, 3 activities competing for the same air. Think about the meeting that can't happen in a private room, because there is no private room. The phone call taken in the bedroom because it's the only door that closes. The home that has more floor space than your grandparents' house, but somehow less space to actually do anything in. The open-plan home didn't give Americans more room. It gave them more square footage and fewer rooms. If this is landing for you, subscribe. There are 12 more of these already waiting. And tell me in the comments, does your home have a formal dining room? And if not, do you miss it? Now here's the part that's hardest to argue with, and the part nobody who misses their dining room wants to hear. The open-plan home is genuinely better for some things. Better for watching young children. Better in small spaces where walls feel suffocating. Better for natural light. And the social kitchen, where guests gather around an island while the host cooks, is a real and pleasant thing that the butler's pantry model never quite achieved. The post-war builders who eliminated the parlor weren't wrong that returning soldiers wanted informal space. The renovation shows that eliminated the dining room weren't wrong that Americans found closed rooms dark and underused. But there's a difference between choosing openness because it suits your life and inheriting openness because a builder in 1947 decided a room was inefficient and a television channel in 1994 decided walls were the enemy. Most Americans live in the second kind of house, and most of them have never been asked which one they wanted. The next time you walk through a house built before 1940 and notice the parlor at the front, the dining room with its closed door, the kitchen tucked away at the back, and feel, without quite knowing why, that the house has a quality that newer houses don't. That quality has a name. It's called purpose. Each room knew what it was for. Each function had a boundary. Each part of domestic life had a space that belonged to it alone, and not to everything else simultaneously. 3 rooms were removed from that logic. One by a builder who needed to cut costs in 1947. One by a television channel that made walls look like problems in 1994. One by an economic logic that treats square footage as interchangeable and purpose as a luxury. The rooms your grandparents had are not coming back. They're being replaced by flex rooms, spaces with no designated purpose that can be anything, and therefore are nothing in particular. Tell me in the comments, which room do you wish your home had? The parlor, the dining room, or the butler's pantry? And why? I read every single comment. And if these questions keep getting stuck in your head, subscribe. Because next time we're asking why the American yard is the size it is. Who decided the minimum? What they were trying to achieve, and what it cost the neighborhood when they got it. And the answer involves the same organization that shaped almost everything else on this channel.